I'm just sharing you the scam stories for your entertainment, and also when you plan to live here in the Philippines, you are actually one of the targets because they're looking at you as foreigners. You're a walking wallet. It's a rainy afternoon here in the Philippines. I'm driving down, and while I'm driving down, I'd like to share with you some stories that may be applicable to you as a foreigner here in the Philippines. These are some of the scams I personally experienced that you might like to hear, to be aware of when things like this happen. So, I consider myself as streetwise, growing from a squatter's area. I was expected to have more eyes than a pineapple. That's a saying over here that some of my OFW brothers there, or the Filipino wives, can say that matan pas pinya. So you have more eyes than a pineapple, aka streetwise. But I do have my share of the scams. One of these is like my own family alone. Before I met Old B, my first ever business that I consider as making real money, 300,000 pesos at the time, 2 decades ago, can buy you a small bungalow or with land. And that was my dream, is to buy that as in a small bungalow with land, so we won't be living in the squatters anymore. So, and they know that's my plan. And my mother heard that her cousin had land for sale and they need some money, so insisted that I have to buy the land of my auntie to keep it within the family. I said, bollocks, I don't want to buy the land of my auntie because I don't trust her. But my mom keep on and keep on. Imagine not speaking to me for a week. Won't do the things for me even though I'm paying for the grocery, paying for the bills of the house. And I end up like have to wash my own laundry, where she washed my other siblings who go do nothing around the house, because she wants me to pay for the land of my auntie. That's what I call parental pressure. And so I gave her my money to buy this auntie's land. And then when I gave them the money, where's the paperwork? And it turns out, no, I think this is the time before I even met Old B, like a year before I met Old B. And no, she don't even own the land. The bank already repossessed the land. And she didn't tell me that. But before she got my money, she'll tell you all the stories, like all the heartstring stories, how they're so blah blah blah. And then the lesson for that: do not trust family sale. You might be lucky with your family, but one person or two is out there to get you, because as a foreigner you're expected to have more money than a local Filipino, I mean. So you're a foreigner, you're expected to have more, then they don't think it's wrong that they'll con you out of it. And me, I was not even married to Old B at that time. Just because I'm earning from my clothes business, that's the real profit, first real profit I have. Because I'm exporting togas, you know, the graduation suits. And she just conned me. And when my parents died, she was there. I would not speak to her. She will even say to me, let bygones be bygones. She never paid me back, and let bygones be bygones, because she can smell. She got more sense than a snake. I'm loaded now, being married to Old B, living in a castle. So she wants bygones to be bygones. I said, bygones be bygones. Pay me back with interest before I let bygones be bygones. I don't even call her auntie anymore. I call her by her real name. And so that's another thing. The lesson is, do not trust anyone around you. Just your spouse. Because it's different with the spouse. Sometimes even the spouse is the one conning you, but you can tell you've been with the person every day. You can tell what's the real deal with this person, unless she's a real good actress or actor. But the people around you, like I said, seldom to have a family that's not out there to get you, that's not out there to get more from something from you. And I think it's because of necessity, or it's just the way that their mind works. You got more, you need to share. So another thing, another scam that you need to look out for is this. Before, while living in the castle, continuing on to my story about the scam, I gotta answer that text. There, one time when we were living there in the castle, there was a knock on the door. At this time around, like the satellite TV around here is like Dream. Remember that Dream? And then now they got Signal. But before that, there was Dream satellite TV. So I have one installed in the castle before. And this was before the Netflix and all that. And then there was a knock on the gate. Dala was calling me. Someone says they are from Dream, and they said that there's an upgrade on the satellite system, that you need a new box. And so I said, how much will it cost me? 2,500 pesos. But you can give me the money, I'll buy the box for you, and I'll come and install. I said, show me any credentials, IDs. And he's complete with all the Dream IDs, the lot. Even the driver's license, which I quickly read and all that. And so I sent one of my lads at that time, not Daloy, go with him in the motorbike, follow him. Make sure you don't give him the money. So they went into a shop, and my lad at that time was so confident. They are now in the shop. You can see him in the glass door or the glass walls of the shop, going to the counter, went in, going to the counter, and then pretend that he's going to the toilet. So he went in, bring the box, bring the money to have it changed. And so an hour later, he hasn't come back. He's in the shop. And they asked, where is that person here? He already gone back on the back door. He just went into the shop, talked something with the counter, and just went on and make a signal he's gonna wee on my person, so they think it's legit. And there he is, gone off with my money and with my box. And I have to cast off my lad at that time, because you are being stupid. I told you that do not let go of the money unless you're with him. So I'm with him, I'm in the shop. I said, you should be the one handing the money to the cashier. Oh, that was not 2,500. It was actually 12,500. Now I could remember it, because it's not just 2,500. 12,500 for a new box and satellite. That was quite pricey at the time. And so then I remember something. I read in the driver's license the address, and it's one of the big urban settler here in Cebu City. So you know me, I have him tracked down and paid one police, pick him up and lock him up for 2 years while I'm sorting the filing of charges. Although I got no, when I look at his background, and because I went to that urban settling community where I remember on his driver's license, I asked around on my normal gear, like you ask them like you're from there, and you can see that the man was working for Dream Satellite, got fired, and that is now his racket. He hasn't returned all his ID. That's why I said it was authentic. Got all the IDs, technician IDs, employees IDs. He hasn't returned it. He is working for a Dream, and he knows his job, but he just needs a lot of money because his son is very ill, and that's his con. But I still want to give him a lesson. I just don't want to forget about the 12,500 because his son can be sponsored by a charity, because I know one of the neighbors there works for that charity, and that's what that neighbor is the one telling me where he lives and all that, his neighbor, because I just remember the address on the driver's license. And so I have him pick up, file the charges, and then I tell the prosecutor that the witness, my lad, that's witness it all, we don't have a big witness, so I just want to drag it on. So me and the prosecutor says I'll just attend one hearing and just drag it on, postpone it 10 times before it gets dropped. So that con man has been in jail for 2 years. And things like this that you need to be aware as a foreigner or as a Filipino as well. These things I'm sharing with you is the real things that happened to me. People may have the original IDs, people may have the authentication that you're needing, but a con is a con. I thought my lad that I sent on was smart enough to understand that you don't let go of the money unless you're the one giving it to a cashier. I went to that cashier first before trying to remember the ID's address was. They don't even know the man. He went there and asked, "Where's your toilet?" So the cashier told him there, and then he made a signal on my lad that he wants to have a wee, and that was the transaction of the cashier. Just, "Where's your toilet?" And he's trying to portray to my lad that he's there to buy an official box. So the container van has let me go. So I'm talking to you while I'm driving, so you have to bear with me. I think you understand. So that was another scam. And another thing, have you noticed that on my roof in my castle, it's Spanish style, the old style Spanish per piece tigula they call it. There was a big company here before. They have a big branch here in Cebu, although they're originally from Manila, making this original Spanish tiles that I have on my roofing and even on my dividing walls. You can see those red tigula tiles. Those are the Spanish ones. How it's made, it's baked and all that. And well, I was ordering thousands of it, because imagine, I have the main house, I have my guest house to be roof tiled, and so I ordered thousands. And I have a tendency to file, especially like that, I'll file all my paperworks because I have the records of it when I need to order more, and I know OB likes it so much, the tiles like that. So I make sure I had a separate file for this company because it's got different profiles and codings for all the different styles, and I don't have time to memorize all that. And so it happened that we do need a few more tiles because of the dividing walls and the ending walls around. You can see it's still tiled. One piece of tile, just an ender for the walls. So I have to buy some more. And when I went there, the company, the owner was there and the head accountant from Manila was there. I showed the paperwork and said, I want to order one of these, the one that I ordered. And they look at each other and said, sorry ma'am, you know this paperwork of yours, we don't have a record of it. So what do you mean? Like, this number don't exist. I mean, the padding number. And we are now on the verge of investigating the manager that's handling this in Cebu. Would you like to make an affidavit that you purchased this in good faith, and then the actual manager is the one supervising it on my house? She did. She went over my house and supervised the installing. She was teaching my lad how to install it and giving me ideas how to care for it, what's the best way to, what are the styles of their tiles on certain areas like corners, gutters. And she was there measuring it all as well and giving me a receipt that's not in the records of the company because she printed her own receipt. And so I gave them the paper. They were so happy. I gave them the paperwork. Look, these are my files. And all of my receipt, looking official, is not even connected to the company. She printed her own, the manager. And so I made an affidavit. And the next thing I hear now is she was in jail for 10 years for fraud. It's not only me, but mine is the one that's really fry her up because all the transactions, all the receipts are there. From the time that she gave me the quotations, from the time that she made the first measurement, everything is all documented in my file. So I just gave them the file. Although that company now is not here in Cebu anymore. They told me if I still need some more, I will just I will have it shipped from Manila. They will still have to give me those original Spanish style made tiles on my roof. Although they're quite costly now, but look, I have no problem with the sound of the rain. I have no problem that it's gonna be fading. I need to change it. Nothing. It's done a good job. I cannot feel the heat inside my house because the tiles are blocking it. I cannot feel the rain sound. Nothing. It's making my house soundproof because you know the Filipinos have a tendency to like the karaoke's during occasions, and it does makes my house cooler because that's why I like using tigula both on my houses. I know it's quite costly because you need to have a proper sheets. You know, you need to have thicker angle bars for your trusses because it's very heavy. One piece of tile is 5 kilos. But it's worth it, you know. Even the assessment of your own house because you have it assessed. Because I got a friend that works in the assessor, and she assessed it as Class A build. So that's one of the scam. The actual manager of the firm is into the scam, and I'm a Filipino that she is trying to scam more. If you are a foreigner, so it's still green, so I have to go. Yeah, like everything looks official and then you'll be surprised that it's not. That's one thing that you need to be wary of when you're living here in the Philippines. It's not everyone out there to con you, but people try. There's a pre-owned motorbike. Okay, that's the one I want to have to look at. People try, but not everyone. I'm just sharing you the scam stories for your entertainment, and also when you plan to live here in the Philippines, you are actually one of the targets, because they're looking at you as foreigners. You're a walking wallet. I mean, going in the squatters around this area, I know that's how my neighbors terms foreigners. Now I just have to drink. Just turn this off a bit.